So let's do this. I'm pretty sure we're in the middle of this end. It's all my fault. I'm pretty sure I said. Like just recently, probably. What departure? We just learned that we're leaving today. I jumped at the word. Olga says the term is ending today. This is the last day. What? It was the only response I could squeeze out. Last day meaning I'll finally be able to leave this damned camp. Maybe it's time for my suffering to end, and I'll get back to my ordinary reality. But why so suddenly? Sudden for who? I talked about it at the lineup. She has a point. At the lineups I was usually sleeping or looking around and didn't really listen to the announcement. That's so weird that he doesn't do that. He explains his character to not be that way, and also, like, if he's trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, then listening to the lineups is a good idea. But no, he just skips them. And at what time? About 5 o'clock. Don't forget to get ready. I hardly have anything to pack. She stood up, took a tray, and was going to leave. So, what's gonna happen to Juliana? I don't know yet, I told you. She will probably leave later. Colgate in and taps us up and saying he's not trying very hard to find answers. Indeed, he is not. He has not been. He has been talking about it endlessly, saying that he's trying to find answers, but he hasn't. How are you today, Colgate in on tap? Not with everyone. How's that? Well, yes. Is that normal? I was truly surprised. Colgate in and tap is doing good. That's nice. That's nice. Feel like people are doing good. What's wrong with it? I don't know about wrong, but it's just quite strange for sure. Well, I still have work to do. I dug aimlessly at my porridge, which had gone cold long ago. Colgate in on tap says on Simeon route it was more like answers were looking for him. Yeah, indeed. And I mean, the Simeon route as well. Answers were looking for him, but there are ways to interpret the Simeon route. It could have been not answers, it could have him just been having a psychotic break. Like a schizophrenic break. Well, I haven't even considered that. I think I did in the early, like he had a psychosis, but I hadn't even thought he's the right age to have a schizophrenia, to have that manifest. Isn't that like somewhere between 20-25? It's a common age for schizophrenia to show its rearish ugly head. Hadn't even thought about that. It's like he did talk early on about him having vivid dreams and not remembering and stuff. I don't remember the beginning. That's departure, the possibility of getting out of here. But on the other hand, Juliana. I myself felt guilty before her. In the end, she was penalized. While I, at the same time, wasn't. That's not fair. Isn't it, though? Well, life isn't fair, but again. No, it's not like I wanted to share her misery, but I don't think it's fair that she sits there locked up. Well, there is still some time before leaving. It should be quite enough to make the situation clear. First, I decided to talk with Slavia. I hope she has calmed down. I'd gotten used to finding Slavia at the square, so I went there without any doubts. Why exactly there? Because in this camp, predominantly, I met her there. Huh. There wasn't a single soul near Genda's Haven. I stood there for a while, looking at the monument, and then headed to the library. It makes sense that Xenia would know where to find her neighbor right now. After knocking at the door, recalling my previous experience, this was not a useless mannerism. I went in. Xenia distracted herself from her book and looked closely at me. What do you want? What's wrong? Why do you react like that? I can't even come in? What? You came here for no reason? That's a point. I doubt you wanted to read something. Well, no. The classics of Marxist-Leninism weren't my favorite literature. He hasn't read it, has he? Pretty sure he said that. I wanted to know where Slavia is. Oh my god. Why do you want to know? She said that as if she was sure that the conversation is over, and thus she proceeded with her reading. Well, since I'm asking, I clearly need to know. Should be on the pier. Jenny answered indifferently. Thanks. Learning what I wanted to know, I hurried out of this stronghold of malice. Yes, Genya has a tough spirit. At least I have issues understanding her. At least I have issues understanding her. On the pier, some pioneers were pulling boats into docks while others were running around with oars or ropes. After looking closely, I noticed Slavia, who sat quite far away near the water. Cleaning up? I asked the most neutral question that came to mind. Yep, he answered without turning. Listen, I want to talk about Liliana. Well, yeah. Honestly speaking, I had no idea what to talk about. Clavia found us in the storage room, got it wrong, and told everything to the camp leader. Now it's not her concern anymore, if you think about it. Agreed. On the other hand, it would be a waste of time talking to Olga now. Maybe I just subconsciously wanted to understand Slavia's reasoning. To be able to absolve her somehow. I don't understand. Didn't she, tell us straight out? Just something like this, the way I remember it. This shit looks weird. I don't like it. It's not my place. I'm gonna go take it up with the boss. And the boss has to deal with it, and then I'll wash my hands of it, right? Wasn't that her reaction? Didn't she tell us just that? Colgate on top says, yeah, pretty much. So, what is he trying to understand? He was being a dick about it as well, and hey, Slavia, stop, please stop, no, don't do it. Like that, he was being very dickish about the whole thing. So what did you want to say? Well, Liana got punished. Maybe she won't even leave with us. No wonder. Wait. This I don't understand, though. I just wanted to explain to you that nothing special happened there. You did say that over and over again, and you can say it one more time. Frankly speaking, I don't know. I just had to report everything. Yeah, exactly. So you did Did you leave anyone better off? Oh my god, he's being such an asshole. I mumbled to him. Yeah, he mumbled it to himself. Good, good. I get that, like his anger and frustrations and stuff like that. Of course, I'm not sure that it was right, he said confusedly. Well, what's done is done. Do you think it's possible to get Uliana freed from house arrest? You're worrying about her so much. Flavia finally looked at me and smiled. Not about her, about justice. Really? Really, Semyon? Well, I was a bit confused. I found the right answer. Well, you know our camp leader? I do, that's for sure. Just wait, she'll calm down eventually. Yes, I guess that was the best decision. Yes, you're right. I stood near her in silence for some time. Slavia didn't seem eager to keep on talking. No wonder. Still, there was some sense of incompleteness, but faced with the idea of this uncomfortable situation lasting for several hours, I decided not to be a burden. Okay, I'll go then. See ya. She smiled. In the middle of the square, I stopped to think. Can't he walk and think at the same time? Well, sometimes I stop and think as well. I think? Do I? It depends. If I need to make a decision on where to go next, I need to stop and think, where do I go next? Yeah, here we go. There's still a lot of time till the departure and I have nothing to do, and that's exactly what he did. Just yesterday, when it seemed like I was stuck here forever and had lots of time, even though there was actually very little, I felt a need to think and act faster. But now that I've got only 5 hours left till I leave this camp forever, I have not the slightest idea on how to spend them. I decided to visit Uliana. After all, even if she isn't allowed to leave her cabin, that doesn't mean I cannot pay her a visit. I knocked gently. You're not welcome here. An angry voice sounded from behind the door. I pulled on the handle and entered. Hail, prisoner. Oh, it's you, Uliana said disappointedly. And what? Am I the only one who isn't welcome here? I tried to smile. Why did you come? Well, I thought you'd be bored here all alone. I'm fine. Where's Elisa? As you can see, not here. Come on, why are you so angry? In the morning you were in a much better mood. Angry? Me? Not me, that's for sure. You have nothing else, so you came here, right? Yeah, my bad. He sighed theatrically and hung my head. Well, sit down then. I sat on the opposite bed. So, tell me something. Let's come up with a way to prove to Olga that we did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong, Uliana corrected me. You seem to have nothing to do with it. Okay, let it be. But why? Tricky question. It feels like we've swapped our roles. I was suggesting a stupid plan while she was the voice of reason. Well, because we did nothing wrong. What's the matter with you anyhow? I'll just stay grounded for a couple of hours. That's that. We have to depart soon anyway. He flopped down the bed and stared at the ceiling. Well, sure, but... I tried hard to cheer her up, but it looks like I haven't succeeded so far. Want to do something, maybe? It's lunchtime already. I took a glance at my watch. Yeah, right. Here's a job for you. Since I mustn't go out, go and bring me something to eat. Sir, yes, sir. I saluted her and hurried out of the cab. Recently, I'd started to think that finally something had clicked in Uliana's mind. Colgate Inantap says, you know it's bad when Uliana acts more mature than you. And it is bad. Maybe the punishment had an effect on her, or possibly it was something else. And my attitude towards her has changed. Her wrongdoings used to make me feel nothing but irritation. But now there was also understanding and a sort of sympathy. After all, I used to be a child too. Perhaps if one explained to her what is right and what is not. We actually talked about that a little bit this morning. She might know. She might be able to avoid many mistakes. About authority in moral questions. I hate that word, like is right. That doesn't make any sense. There are no rights or wrongs when speaking about morality. And authority. Nobody has the authority to tell anyone else anything about ethics or morality, right? From where would that authority come? I mean, a lot of people would argue like a god or some gods or religious texts or what not, but that's up for interpretation. Even if you are religious, you have to interpret the religious text, and whose interpretation is the valid one? What makes priest A's interpretation better than priest B's interpretation, right? There is no way. And others would go the ideological route, like, I don't know, like what they tried to do. Instead of having like a religious text, they made an academic text and tried to put that out as right and wrong. The isms, communisms, the capitalisms, the utilitarianisms, all of those are very interesting concepts, are worth studying for sure when making up your mind about moral questions. But none of the authors or anyone who has read them has any authority in the matter. So there's no one to explain what is right and what is not. That's not how the world works. Nope. In the canteen, I had an argument with the cook who refused to give me a double serving. However, everyone in the camp already knew about Uliana being grounded, so eventually my powers of persuasion won out over dietary standards. Wouldn't that be in spite of his rhetorical powers of persuasion, rather than because of them, way he put it? Soon I was sitting at Uliana's cabin and tucking away meatballs with potatoes. Just like a last meal. What are you talking about? Well, every death row prisoner has a right to make a last wish. With who? Thus, my last wish is lunch like this. To my surprise, the food was really delicious. What would your wish be? Well, to not be executed, of course. Right? Ooh, thinking about utilitarianism, like, hypothetical, genie shows up, you get one wish, whatever you want, just that he can fulfill the wish, but you die. That's an interesting thought experiment. Like, get one wish, you die. Like I could say, no more nuclear weapons, no more war. Say that. I could say, I want humanity to stop warring each other, killing each other. There we go, even better. Humans should stop killing each other. That's a lot of power. But I die. I can, like, just from that day forward. Well, I mean, Colgate Inotep says, so the genie goes ahead and kills humanity. No more war. Well, no more human war. Ants will still war each other, I guess. Ants are so warlike, more than humans. But let's say, like, the only thing that changes is that from now on, a human is not, like, there is some kind of, since we're a magic thing, we're talking about genies and wishes and whatnot, that's magic, right? So in that magical world, we could just add a rule that every time you try to kill someone else, you fail, you can't do it. Like, there's no way. So setting off a bomb, not possible anymore. It always breaks. You're trying to stab someone, you always miss. Or to shoot someone, you always miss, never hit anything. Like that kind of. That's the Colgate Inotep says other preservation instinct that works like self-preservation instinct. How do you mean? Yeah, self-preservation in that moment. Like, I'll die in 5 minutes, but my legacy. Like, the wish is not super important. Like, there is, just imagine something that you would really like to change about the world, and being able to do that for humanity in all future generations. Maybe you want to kill all of humanity. Then, I mean, the wish is the backside. It's not a backside if you want to get rid of all of humanity, since you're part of it. Like, everybody dies. Like Thanatos. Thanatos would take that in a second. I have no idea. As you say, self-preservation instinct is. This works for all people, not just yourself. Oh, right. The self-preservation instinct, something like that. So yeah, you have an instinct, like an instinct baked into humanity that makes them just not being able to kill other people because. Do have suicide, so it doesn't work 100%, but we could make it similar, right? I'm not sure I would. I'm guessing it would depend on my state of mind. Like, when will this happen? Like, if I'm in a downswing, like emotionally, like, well, depression and stuff like that, like, if that's going on and I would know for sure that it would work the way I wanted it to work, that would be a given. Like, no trickery, like the genie killing everybody when I want world peace. If I would be 100% certain, and a little bit depressed, like, not a lot of stuff to look forward to, then yeah. But if I would have stuff to look forward to, like, I want to see this and that, and I want to be part of this and that, then probably I would not take that deal. To not be executed, of course, says Juliana. She laughed. You can't, says Semyon. Why, if you can wish for anything. Well, you can, but within certain limits. That means it's not anything. Well, okay then, it's not anything. Then it's not interesting. I disagree with that, Uliana. The limits make it interesting. There are many things. Thought experiments always need its limits, right? That's the whole point. You set up rules and guidelines for thought experiments, and then you think about it. And you learn something about yourself or the world, perhaps, or perhaps not. Well, I believe being a death row prisoner is hardly meant to be interesting in the first place. I grinned through my teeth. I wouldn't know. I never went through that experience. But if you think about it, that's almost my situation. This camp is my cell for several more hours, and I'll stay under arrest, and then I'll face uncertainty, just like I would after death. Well, I don't know. I feel certainty towards death. I've always thought about, well, not always, but I've been thinking about it like this, explaining it. What does my experience look like after death? It's like all those memories I have from the 1700s. That's what death feels like, right? Before you were alive, you weren't alive, so then you were dead, weren't you? Well, it depends. Like, the moment of death is something that I dread. It doesn't seem fun at all, like the act of dying. But after death, I mean, the 1700s doesn't scare me. Like the time before I was born, that time doesn't scare me. And I feel certain that it will be the same. Like after death? There is no after death. The only difference is that I had more options. If I wanted to attend lineup, then I'd do so. If not, then I didn't. What are you going to do next? What do you mean? Well, after the camp. She looked at me in surprise. Back to school, of course. Colgate In on Tap says, would they scare you if you found yourself in an 80s Soviet pioneer camp? Oh, another... Well, that's the problem with thought experiments, because in thought experiments we have to include magic. Well, probably if I found myself in an 80s Soviet pioneer camp, and I had, like, similar to what he's doing right here, I would have assumed that it was me. I had a break. This is all hallucinations. Because of my certainty, my worldview would not accept this type of time travel. Also, I don't speak Russian, which would be an issue. And I would still feel the same way about death, I believe. It's difficult. It's a difficult thought experiment. So I don't think the concept of after death would scare me. I don't think so. A lot of things would scare me. I would be scared shitless. What the fuck is going on, you know? That like he was at the start, just running around. What is going on? I don't understand. But then I would do completely different I would try to think like an engineer. I'm not an engineer, but I'd like to try to learn to think like an engineer. So I would do science, right? I would test stuff. I would look what the fuck is going on, stuff like that. Figure it out. Do some sciencing. And again, like, to be clear, I'm not saying that I'm not afraid of death. Of course I am, like you say. We were talking about self-preservation before. It's the moment of death, and I'm not looking forward to not being alive anymore. Like, I would prefer not to die. Let's put it that way. Like, I think a lot of people feel that way, that they would prefer not dying. I think that's yes, only for me leaving this place is kind of like crossing a barrier, a frontier, the end of something and the beginning of something else. A week ago, it was terribly hard for me to realize that I'd been pulled out of my usual world and brought to God knows where. Indeed. Then I got used to it. Here we go again. Yeah. And I mean, this situation that he was talking about, I would be scared about this, like heading into the unknown again after just being settled after a week. Like, if I had been settled and then going off to, I have no idea what's happening next. Like, the unknown scares me. Yeah. Like, proper uncertainty, that scares me. I get. Just a metaphor that doesn't work for me. The comparison between death and this would scare me way more. Here we go again. Basically, the only difference is that I face not a sense of fear and horror, but a blunt, sinking feeling of uncertainty. Yeah. And you? Well, I'll find something to do. Something? You burst into peals of laughter. Yeah, what's the matter? You should have gone to circus school to be a clown. Nice. Colgate In on Tap says, which is worse, sleep which never ends or that which never comes? I mean, there's many ways to interpret that question. I mean, if you get more and more tired from not sleeping, then I can't imagine. Like, the longest I've ever been awake was, I think it was more than 48 hours. Not a lot more. Maybe around 50, 55 hours, something like that. And that was rough. Being in that state of mind, not being able to sleep, and all the headaches that comes from that tiredness, but I'm guessing that is not quite what you meant. Like, are we talking about dreams? Because one could argue that this could just be a dream and I am asleep right now. It's an ambiguous question. Purposefully. I like that. So you can interpret it however you like. So in that case, never-ending sleep is fine if it's like this. On the other hand, like, usually I have tried lucid dreaming. It's a lot of hassle, if you know what that is. It's when you take control of your dreams and have a good time or have a bad, no, you have a good time in your dreams, because why would you have a bad time? That doesn't make any sense. Take control of the dream. You're aware that you're dreaming, and you fly around and have orgies, I suppose, stuff like that in your dream. And that type of sleep, it takes a lot of practice and a lot of work, so I stopped doing it. So since I don't care about that, and usually I don't remember my dreams a lot, when I do, they usually aren't very fun. I don't have nightmares, I just have annoying dreams. They are exhausting when I remember them, but I remember them because they are exhausting, so that's how that works. Oh, and could be interpreted as an immortality question as well. Oh, we'll get into that. So just getting rid of sleep, that would be fine for me. I could just stay awake if I wouldn't get tired. And then we got the immortality interpretation. Like, would I want to be immortal? Same again. Not if it contained eternal slumber is euphemism for death. Oh. I mean, I've heard it before. I don't like the euphemism, though, since death and sleep. Well, I guess if you don't remember, like if you're completely out of it, I would rather, instead of calling it slumber, I would unconscious, like when they knock you out for a operation or something like that. Yeah, like living forever. If it's like this, right? If it's like this, then it's fine. Probably. I mean, we don't know. There are so many unknowns, it's just speculation. But if we make a couple of assumptions, like not getting older, because getting older forever, just decaying, your body decaying, but you're still alive but can't move, you're just stuck, like Metallica's One. Think about that forever. Ugh. And like everlasting pain, like being on fire. I mean, pain comes in degrees, right? So if we assume like the amount of pain, like day-to-day pain, like I can hurt my knee and it hurts for a couple of days and stuff like that, I could live with that forever, as far as I think. And since my memory works in a way, I have a bad memory, and I don't, and my approach to life as well, I don't make the effort to remember stuff. So for me, I think it'd be fine. Like the everlasting part. Like people say that you get bored. And I mean, I do get bored. Like nowadays, but there will be also endless new experiences, right? And old. Like I can, in 100 years, I can rewatch Buffy the Vampire Slayer again and it'll be amazing. Like, because I won't remember it. I'll have a vague memory perhaps of it, but I can reread this book every 100 years. Would it be easier if you didn't know that you are immortal? Since I don't see a big issue with that knowledge, I think it would be easier to adapt. Like for us who are mortal, we have difficulty adapting to being mortal, right? So I think being immortal would be easier to adapt to. I saw this, and this actually, if you're interested in this, I saw this French. Oops, what happened? what are we doing? Move you over there. We close this. I can highly recommend, if you're interested in this, you could value your time more if you think it's limited. I mean, yeah, but if you have unlimited time, then why would you need to value your time? You could. And like, it would be less stress if you don't value your time, right? I can spend like a year or 100 years of just perfecting piano playing, doing nothing else. Like, I wouldn't, but you see, like, I could waste my time because there is no time to waste if I have unlimited time. So I would. Like, I don't see an issue. French series, mortality. It was called something TV. Here we go. Netflix. What was it called? Call My Agent, Family Business, Vermin. It's none of these. Should I add Netflix? French TV series. I saw it on Netflix. It was kind of new. It wasn't a comedy, no. Crime? Was it this? Lamante? What's this? No. Ah, there we go. Ad vitam. That's it. Ad vitam. If you want to, that they explore this, like immortality in the way, like humanity beat aging. People still die from accidents and whatnot, but it's still it's a fun little ad vitam. They discuss that type of immortality, everlasting time. They would probably agree with me that you adapt. I mean, wasting time. If you enjoy yourself, then the time is not wasted, right? And if you don't enjoy yourself, then why would you do something like that? Why would you spend your time doing stuff that you didn't value? I mean, we do that today. Like, there's so many people that spend a lot of time doing random bullshit that just hurts them. I do that. I think we all do that a lot of time. Like, the best way, if you really value your time, is to do new stuff all the time. New stuff, new experiences. Yeah, new experiences. There you go. That's the way to live longer. Because if you think back, if you take a week where every day looks the same, and then 10 weeks every day looks the same, then you look back, it gets shortened. Like, your experience gets shortened. Time is an interesting concept. Like, doing new stuff, new experiences, that is how you stretch time. I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be like super fun time, because super fun stuff makes time go faster in the actual time. But when playing through your memories of the stuff, it's way longer. So it's a dichotomy there. So having an okay time, doing new interesting stuff, probably learning new things. So learning to play the piano would not be wasted time in that sense. Wasting time would be watching the same movie over and over and over and over and over again. Like, there is an upper limit to where you can gain new stuff from watching the same movie over and over again. Then again, if you're immortal, then that time would not be wasted, right? If you want to do that, then guilt, the mortality guilt, like, oh man, I'm wasting all my time, would not be there, I don't think. But it's just speculations. You should have gone to a circus school to be a clown. Why? One can't help but laughing when looking at you. Oh man, that's so mean. But why? You always act like some kind of martyr. A new messiah for all the Russians. Well, there was a bit of truth in her words. I have my reasons, I mumbled and turned to face a new window. What reasons? Various. Why are you so curious? Have you forgotten that I'm a child? Have you ever heard a child give that excuse for anything? Have you ever forgotten that I'm a child? Like that it understands that it's being childish? And say, well, I am a child. You know, in that sense. Like bring it up like that. Like, as I said, I don't have very good memory, but I don't remember doing that at all. I always felt like I knew what I was doing. Fucking kids. Don't know shit about shit. She grinned archly. I don't know. Well, half an hour with you is like a terrible torture for me. Look who's talking. You're just one really nasty-tempered person. Yep. What makes you think so? You're always deep in soul-searching. Trying to find out something, analyzing everyone around you. That's not soul-searching, though. I gave Uliana an amazed look. I would never have expected such a little girl to be capable of such mature judgment. And that's it. At the very least, I know how to behave myself, and I don't end up grounded. It's a matter of chance, she grinned. Yeah, sure. If last night, she stopped short. Last night what? Nothing. No, finish what you started. She just opened her mouth when steps were heard behind the door, and a second later, Olga entered the room. Ah, there you are. That's even better. She seemed confused and lost for words. Well, I reconsidered this morning's incidents. It's not like to become much clearer, but it doesn't look like a big deal. So, Uliana, you're officially not grounded anymore. If only you did that right from the start, I muttered. Did you say something? Nope, nothing. Departure is coming. Time to pack your stuff. Saying that, she left the cabin. Now you see how it all turned out. Yeah, I sighed. Are you going to pack? Yeah, I guess so. And you? It's not like I've got much to pack. Indeed, it was the truth. Care to help me, then? Okay, sure, why not? I started to pull her clothes out of the cabins and stack them on her bed. Watch it, you'll mess everything up. Hello, Quayside de la Quiche. Quiche. Has your name changed? Quayside de la Quiche. Watch it, you'll mess up everything. It's okay, I'll wash them at home. T-shirts, skirts, shorts, dresses, shoes, trainers, underwear. The piles of clothes were growing and growing. So, you really brought all of this stuff here on your own. Considering Uliana's constitution, it was hard to believe. Yes, of course, he laughed. Come on, give me a hand. We started to pack up the clothes into a big bag. Oh, shit. That's Showed up at the perfect time. It's time for me to leave. It's lunchtime, 10 minutes ago. Got stuck in... we didn't get very far today. Got stuck in weird thought experiments. But that's... I mean, it's not wasted time if it's... Thought experiments are fun. And fun time is never wasted, I think.